Narrator, your calendar is a battlefield. Your inbox is an arms race. You've downloaded the apps. You've read the blogs. You've tried every productivity hack the internet has to offer, and you still feel like you're running in place. Narrator, but what if the most powerful system for personal effectiveness wasn't designed in Silicon Valley, but in 18th century Philadelphia? What if the original life hacker wasn't a tech CEO, but a printer, a scientist, a diplomat, and one of the most formidable figures in American history? Narrator, this is the story of Benjamin Franklin's boldest experiment.
It had nothing to do with lightning or electricity. It was an experiment on himself. At the age of 20, long before he was a founding father, Franklin embarked on what he called the bold and arduous project of arriving at moral perfection. He didn't just hope to become a better person.
He engineered it. He treated his own character like a machine to be optimized. He created a repeatable, data-driven framework for self-improvement. A personal operating system built on 13 core principles he called virtues: narrator, temperance, silence, order, resolution, frugality, industry, sincerity, justice, moderation, cleanliness, tranquility, chastity, and humility. This wasn't about vague resolutions. This was a targeted, week-by-week assault on his own weaknesses, tracked meticulously in a little book he carried everywhere. It was the original habit tracker, the blueprint for disciplined achievement. And in this video, we're going to dissect Franklin's 200-year-old system. We'll break down each of the 13 virtues, not as stuffy old commandments, but as powerful algorithms for hacking your focus, your discipline, and your success in the modern world. Get ready to learn how a simple notebook and a revolutionary idea from the past can unlock your full potential today. Let's begin. The screen transitions to an animated breakdown of a page from Franklin's journal. A grid with 13 rows for the virtues and 7 columns for the days of the week is drawn out. Narrator, so how did this system actually work? It was deceptively simple.
Franklin didn't try to conquer all 13 virtues at once. That's the classic mistake we all make on New Year's Day. Instead, he focused on just one virtue per week.
Narrator, for one full week, his entire focus was on temperance. He carried a small book with a chart. Each day, he would review his actions. If he committed a fault, if he ate too much or indulged in idle gossip, he would mark his chart with a little black spot. Narrator, his goal was simple, a clean line for the week. The next week, he would focus on the second virtue, silence, while still striving to keep the first line clean. After 13 weeks, he had completed one full cycle. He would then start over, completing 4 full cycles in a year. The genius wasn't in the list itself, but in the relentless, cyclical focus. It was a system of compounded self-improvement. Small, weekly gains that built into a lifetime of character. Now, let's break down the code. On screen, virtue 1, temperance. Eat not to dullness, drink not to elevation. Narrator, this seems straightforward. But Franklin wasn't just talking about food and wine. He was talking about the management of energy and attention. In our world, the most common form of intemperance isn't at the dinner table. It's on our screens. It's the mindless scroll that leads to digital dullness, the information binge that leads to a mental hangover, the one more episode that robs you of your morning. Temperance today is about mindful consumption. It's recognizing that your focus is a finite resource. The Franklin-esque hack here is to perform an intemperance audit. Where are you over-consuming? News? Social media? Email? The first step is to simply track it. Then, set a boundary. Not a ban, a boundary. Stop one episode, one article, one scroll short of dullness. Narrator, in the 21st century attention economy, everyone is screaming to be heard. Silence is a superpower. Franklin learned this early on. As a young man in his debate club, the Junto, he made it a rule to stop using words like certainly or undoubtedly. He would instead say, I conceive, or it appears to me. He stopped contradicting people directly and started asking questions. He realized that the person who listens holds the power. This isn't about being a wallflower. It's about strategic communication. It's about resisting the urge to fire off that angry email. It's avoiding the pointless online argument. It's asking yourself before you speak in a meeting, is this useful? Is this kind? Does this move the conversation forward? Practice a 10-second pause before you reply to a contentious message. You'll be amazed at how many battles you win by never fighting them. On-screen Virtue 3, Order. Let all your things have their places, let each part of your business have its time. Narrator. This is the virtue that drove Franklin crazy. He admitted in his autobiography that order was the hardest one for him to master, a fact that should bring comfort to us all. His mind was too creative, his curiosity too vast, but he knew its importance. Let each part of your business have its time. That is the mantra of every modern productivity guru. It's time blocking. It's deep work. It's giving a task your undivided attention for a specific period. The other half, let all your things have their places, is just as critical. It's not just about a tidy desk.
It's about a tidy digital workspace. A clear file structure. A system for processing your inbox so it's not a source of constant anxiety. When your environment, physical and digital, is in order, your mind has the freedom to do its best work.
It eliminates friction. But the real lesson from Franklin's struggle with order is this: the system is not about perfection. It's about awareness. He kept marking those little black spots, week after week.
He never perfected it, but he never stopped trying to. And that commitment to the process, not the perfect outcome, is where true growth happens. Narrator. Next up is resolution.
The art of sticking to your commitments, not with brute force, but with intelligent design. This is where Franklin's system transforms from a moral checklist into a powerful engine for achieving any goal you set for yourself. On-screen Virtue 4, Resolution. Resolve to perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. Narrator. If the 13 virtues are the software for a better life, resolution is the processor. It executes the commands. Franklin understood a fundamental truth that we often forget: a brilliant plan is worthless without the will to execute it. Notice the two parts. First, resolve to perform what you ought. This is about clarity and commitment. It's the moment you decide to go to the gym, start the project, or make the difficult phone call. But it's the second half that's pure genius. Perform without fail what you resolve. This isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about engineering your commitments to be fail-proof. If Franklin resolved to write for an hour, he would create the conditions for it to happen. He would close the door, tell his family not to disturb him, and lay out his tools. He reduced the friction between the decision and the action. The modern hack is to stop relying on motivation and start building systems. Don't just resolve to eat healthier. Resolve to spend 1 hour on Sunday prepping healthy meals for the week.
Don't just resolve to write more. Resolve to open your laptop and write for 15 minutes before checking email. Make your resolutions so small and specific that it feels more foolish not to do them.
That's how you perform without fail. Narrator. When we hear frugality, we think of clipping coupons, but Franklin's definition was far more profound. Waste nothing. He knew that the most valuable currency isn't money. It's time. It's energy. It's attention. Frugality gave Franklin his freedom. By living simply and avoiding debt, he was able to retire from his printing business at just 42 to pursue his true passions: science, invention, and public service. His frugality bought him his life. Today, we are drowning in things that waste our most precious resources. The subscription that auto-renews but provides no value. The meeting that drains 2 hours of your team's energy to solve a 5-minute problem. The pointless argument online that costs you your peace of mind. This is the new extravagance. The hack is a resource audit. For 1 week, track not just your money, but your time and focus. Where are the leaks? Where are you spending time on things that provide no good to yourself or others? Be ruthless. Unsubscribe. Decline the meeting. Mute the conversation. Frugality isn't about being cheap. It's about investing your life's resources in what truly matters. Narrator. This is the virtue that built Franklin's legend. His schedule was relentless. Every morning began with the same powerful question: what good shall I do this day? And every evening ended with the follow-up: What good have I done this day? That simple framework is the perfect filter for our modern epidemic of busyness. We spend our days answering emails, sitting in status updates, and bouncing between tasks, only to feel at the end like we've accomplished nothing of substance. We are busy, but not industrious. Industry is about purpose-driven action. It's about differentiating between motion and progress. Franklin's advice to cut off all unnecessary actions is more radical today than it was in the 1700s. It's a declaration of war against distractions. The Franklin hack for industry is to define your good for the day. Before you open your inbox, identify the 1 or 2 tasks that represent real progress. Then, schedule time for them. Defend that time like a fortress. An hour of focused, useful work is worth more than a day of distracted busyness. On-screen virtue 7, Sincerity. Use no hurtful deceit. Think innocently and justly. And, if you speak, speak accordingly. The screen shows a split view, a colonial-era handshake on one side, a modern influencer posing for a selfie on the other. The selfie side glitches and fades. Narrator. In an age of spin, personal branding, and carefully curated online lives, sincerity feels almost revolutionary. For Franklin, it was the bedrock of trust. His reputation was his greatest asset, and it was built on a foundation of honesty. But sincerity isn't just about not lying to others.
It's about not lying to yourself. It's about intellectual honesty. It's admitting when you've made a mistake, rather than creating a narrative to protect your ego.
It's seeing things as they are, not as you wish they were. The modern practice of sincerity is to communicate with clarity and integrity. In your work, it means giving direct, constructive feedback instead of complaining behind someone's back. In your life, it means your actions align with your words. It's a quiet virtue, but it builds a reputation that no amount of marketing can buy. On-screen virtue 8, Justice. Wrong none by doing injuries, or omitting the benefits that are your duty. Narrator. This isn't just about obeying the law. Look closely at the second half, or omitting the benefits that are your duty. This is where Franklin's concept of justice becomes a powerful tool for leadership and collaboration. He's saying that inaction can be an injustice. Not sharing crucial information with your team is an injustice. Not mentoring a junior employee when you have the knowledge is an injustice. Not pulling your weight on a group project is an injustice. Justice, in the Franklin sense, is about proactive contribution. It's about understanding that we have a duty to add value to the systems we are part of. Our company, our community, our family. It reframes our obligations not as burdens, but as opportunities to build a stronger, fairer whole. The question isn't just what harm did I avoid, but what good did I fail to do. Narrator. Then came the inner work virtues. Moderation. Avoid extremes. The antidote to the outrage and burnout culture of our time. It's about emotional consistency, not being hijacked by every minor setback or fleeting victory. Cleanliness. Tolerate no uncleanliness in body, clothes, or habitation. This is about maintaining your instrument. A clean desk, an organized desktop, a healthy body. These aren't vanities, they create the conditions for clear thought and effective action. Tranquility. Be not disturbed at trifles. This is a mental algorithm for resilience. Your Wi-Fi is slow. Someone cut you off in traffic. These are unavoidable accidents. Wasting emotional energy on them is a choice. Franklin teaches us to preserve that energy for what we can actually control. Chastity. This was Franklin's attempt to master his most powerful physical impulses. For us, the most dangerous impulse is the relentless craving for a dopamine hit from our devices. The modern practice of chastity is turning off your notifications and reclaiming your own mind from the endless cycle of distraction. Narrator. And finally, the virtue he added last, the one that ties them all together, humility. His definition was simple. Imitate Jesus and Socrates. He learned that all his self-improvement would be for nothing if it made him arrogant and insufferable. True humility, he realized, wasn't about thinking less of yourself, but about thinking of yourself less. It's the curiosity to listen. It's the confidence to say, I don't know, It's the wisdom to understand that every person you meet knows something you don't. In our world of so-called experts and loud opinions, humility is the ultimate tool for learning and connection. The screen returns to the image of Franklin's worn journal. The grid is filled with black dots. It is not clean. It is speckled. Narrator: Franklin pursued this project for the rest of his long life. And he never achieved his goal of a spotless book. He admitted as much, telling a story about a man who wanted to buy an axe from a blacksmith. He wanted the entire surface of the axe to be as bright as the edge. The smith agreed, but said the man would have to turn the grinding wheel himself. The man turned and turned, but the work was exhausting. Finally, he gave up. I think, he said, I like a speckled axe best. Narrator: Franklin's book was always speckled. He never mastered order. He was always working on resolution. But he concluded that he was a better and happier man for the attempt. The power of this system is not in perfection. It is in the practice. It's in the awareness. It's in the simple, daily act of trying. So forget the productivity apps that promise a silver bullet. Ignore the life hacks that last for a week. The most robust operating system for personal effectiveness was designed over 200 years ago. All it requires is a notebook, a little honesty, and the resolution to make your own mark. The goal isn't a clean page. The goal is to build a life. And a speckled axe, in the hands of a master, can still change the world. Narrator: But it wasn't just about personal character. This system became the blueprint for everything he built. His businesses, his civic projects, his diplomatic missions, they were all run on the same principles of order, industry, and justice. He created a club for mutual improvement called the Junto. Every week, its members, aspiring artisans and tradesmen, had to answer a list of questions. Questions like, hath any citizen in your knowledge failed in his business lately? And what have you heard of the cause? Or, do you think of anything at present, in which the Junto may be serviceable to mankind? This was the 13 Virtues. Scaled, it was a mastermind group before the term existed. A collaborative engine for problem solving and community building, all powered by the same desire for relentless, structured improvement. He wasn't just optimizing himself. He was creating a system to optimize his entire society. Now, let's get practical. How do you build your own version of this system today? Narrator: First, you need your little book. The tool itself is less important than the ritual. For the purist, there is nothing more powerful than pen and paper. The physical act of drawing the grid, of making that black mark, creates a powerful neurological connection. It forces a moment of honest, tactile reflection that a screen can't replicate. For the digital native, you can build this system in a simple spreadsheet, or use a template in an app like Notion, Rome, or Obsidian. The key is to keep it simple. The goal is not to build a beautiful dashboard. The goal is to create a frictionless system for self-review. Once you have your tool, you need to schedule the ritual. This is non-negotiable. Franklin did it twice a day. At the start of the day, asking, what good shall I do this day? And at the end, reviewing his chart and asking, what good have I done this day? 5 minutes, that's all it takes. Schedule it in your calendar. Set an alarm. Treat it with the same seriousness as a meeting with your boss. Because it is. It's a meeting with the person you want to become. Okay, with our tools in hand, let's continue our deep dive into the code. We've covered resolution, frugality, and industry. Next up is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. On screen, Virtue 7, Sincerity, is highlighted. The script from the prompt continues, moving through sincerity, justice, moderation, cleanliness, tranquility, chastity, and humility. The following new section would come after the discussion on humility and before the speckled axe conclusion. The screen shows the full, animated list of 13 virtues. Then, the camera zooms out, revealing that this list is just one small tile in a vast, interconnected mosaic of Franklin's life accomplishments. Narrator: and this is the ultimate lesson from Franklin's grand experiment. The virtues were never the end goal. They were the means to an end. They were the foundational habits that unlocked a life of staggering impact. Think about it. His frugality and industry allowed him to retire at 42 and dedicate his life to public service. His mastery of silence and humility made him the indispensable diplomat who could charm the French court and secure the funds to win the American Revolution. His sense of justice drove him to establish the nation's first public libraries, hospitals, and fire departments. Each virtue was a tool. Temperance gave him the energy, order gave him the time. Resolution gave him the follow-through. Sincerity gave him the trust of others. He discovered that self-discipline is the ultimate freedom. By putting small constraints on his daily behavior, he unshackled his long-term potential. While others were slaves to their impulses, their debts, and their disorganized lives, Franklin was free to invent, to write, to build, and to shape the course of history. This is the promise of his system. It's not about becoming a rigid, moralizing robot. It's about clearing away the internal friction, the procrastination, the distraction, the self-doubt, so that your true energy can be focused outward, on work that matters.
So where do you begin? 13 weeks, 4 cycles a year, it can feel overwhelming. But remember Franklin's core insight. Focus on one thing at a time.
Don't start by trying to build the entire system. Start with a single virtue. The one that resonates most with you, or the one that causes you the most trouble. Is your digital life chaotic? Start with order. Do you feel scattered and unproductive? Start with industry. Are you exhausted by pointless conflict? Start with silence. For 1 week, just track that single virtue. That's it. Don't worry about the other 12. Just bring your awareness to this one area of your life. See what you notice. That simple act of observation is the first, most powerful step. And here's the most liberating part of Franklin's experiment. He customized it. He started with 12 virtues. After a friend told him he came across as arrogant, he added humility to the list. Your list might look different.
Perhaps patience is more relevant to you than chastity. Maybe you'd add courage or kindness. The list isn't scripture. The system is the innovation.
A system of focused intention, honest review, and relentless iteration. You are the scientist, and your own life is the laboratory. This isn't about becoming Benjamin Franklin. It's about applying the mindset of an engineer to the art of living. It's about believing that a better version of yourself is not just possible, but designable, and it's a process that never ends. It is a lifelong project. The screen shows a modern calendar app. A week is filled with red, failed habit tracker entries. A mouse cursor hovers over a button that says, Delete Goal, Narrator, but this is where most of us give up. We have a bad week. The chart is full of black spots. We break the streak. The chain is broken, and we abandon the entire project in disgust, feeling like a failure. We think the system is broken. But Franklin knew this would happen, and he built the most important feature directly into the architecture of his system, the automatic reboot. The animation on screen shows the calendar flipping from the end of week 13 to the beginning of a new 13-week cycle. The chart is clean again. The first virtue, temperance, is highlighted. Narrator, the 13-week cycle is a stroke of genius because it's a built-in forgiveness protocol. It anticipates failure and plans for a fresh start. A bad week on order doesn't derail the whole year. It's just data. You learn, and 13 weeks later, you get another shot at it, armed with new knowledge about your own weaknesses. It's not about an unbreakable chain of perfection. It's about a resilient, repeating loop of practice. This system isn't designed for saints, it's designed for humans who are trying. And Franklin knew something else. It's a lot easier to try when you're not trying alone. Narrator, he didn't just optimize himself in isolation. He built a network. His club, the Junto, was a collective intelligence dedicated to mutual improvement. It was Franklin's 13 virtues, multiplayer mode. They weren't just a book club. They were an accountability group. They debated morals. They analyzed business failures. They helped each other find work. And they launched civic projects that transformed Philadelphia. The Junto was a living embodiment of the virtues, industry and their projects. justice in their civic duty, sincerity in their debates, and humility in their constant quest for knowledge. The modern hack is to build your own Junto. It doesn't have to be a formal club. It can be one or two trusted friends or colleagues. An accountability partner, someone you can check in with once a week, not to confess your faults, but to share your commitment to the process. To ask the big questions: what good have you done? What challenge are you facing? How can I help? Externalizing your commitment makes it real. It raises the stakes, just enough to keep you in the game when your own motivation fades. Narrator: so let's return to where we began. The chaotic calendar. The endless notifications. The feeling of running in place. That is the world of reaction. A life lived on other people's terms, responding to every buzz and every urgent, unimportant demand. Franklin's system is the alternative. It is a quiet revolution, conducted in a little book, 5 minutes at a time. It is the act of choosing intention over impulse, of building a character, not just managing a to-do list. Each mark in the book is not a judgment. It is a data point. Each day is a chance to run the experiment again. You are not striving for a flawless record. You are striving for a deeper understanding of the machine you inhabit. The final shot is a close-up of the pen, hovering over the chart for a new day. The question from Franklin's schedule appears in elegant text: what good shall I do this day? Narrator: the tools of our time promise to connect us, to organize us, to make us more productive, but they often deliver distraction, anxiety, and the feeling that we are never quite enough. Perhaps the most radical life hack of all is to close the laptop, put down the phone, and pick up a pen to ask a 200-year-old question, and to begin the bold and arduous project of becoming the person you were meant to be. The speckled axe is waiting. It's time to start grinding.